Hi everyone, this is architect Vyoma Patwa Moti Ramani here, and we have a firm called Design Lab Vyoma. It's a Bombay-based practice. We deal into architecture and interior products. We are mainly doing a lot of residential products right now, and we have our firm, which is around 8 to 9 years old. We're in the practice from the last 9 years. I started my journey with IM Kadri, which is an architectural firm. I worked there for a couple of years, 4 years, 5 years before I started my own practice. I graduated from Kamla Raheja, which is an architectural college in Juhu. And we went to Bern University. We affiliated with Bern University for a master's degree and to explore architecture on a more international level. So currently, we're enjoying a lot of pan India projects, which are mainly residential. A couple of them are commercial and retail spaces. So yes, art in fact is a very important part of all our designs. We don't look at art as an element which can be added on later, or it's like a default that comes in when we see a blank space or a blank canvas and we feel, okay, let's put up a painting and sort that space out. Art is actually one of the few integral elements that we utilize when we are doing our concept design. So right from the first day when we start, when we have our pen to paper and we start designing and sketching, we use art as a part of our whole process. And it's not just art in terms of a wall art or something. It could be a furniture installation, it could be a light installation, it could be one centerpiece somewhere which kind of becomes the highlight of the space, and things revolve around that. So art is definitely been throughout our projects. In all our projects, you will see glimpses of art in different forms. Not necessarily all of them are just a painting or something. In fact, one of our projects, which is a Curio house, which has got published in a couple of magazines like Good Home Trends and etc. The client was actually, they are collectors of art. They had a lot of artifacts from all around the world. They traveled a lot. So they wanted to make sure that all their art is displayed in their house that they were making. So what we have done, we have actually designed our whole space. We've made the whole box, keeping art as the focal point. And their art was just not one kind of art. They had right from over 100 souvenirs to multiple masks to multiple antique paintings to some kind of metal artwork which is no longer existing, to some kind of wooden carving which has gone up on the wall just as decor. So it's a whole space which is revolved around the artwork. So we made a canvas, we made like a neutral contemporary canvas where art would take the forefront, and the design is just a backdrop accentuating the artwork and highlighting the art forms in all its possible ways. So yes, art is very important for us in all our projects. So art, as I mentioned, we look at art right from day one, from the first part of our designing. So we look at art as an element that can add a character to each space. When we decide to have art in any kind of a project or any kind of a space, we generally decide the kind of art we are looking at. Are we looking at a contemporary artist or some kind of a contemporary abstract kind of an art? Are we looking at an ethnic art? Are we looking at a three-dimensional art form, which could be like an artifact or a furniture piece or something? So generally, we first narrow it down to what kind of art we are looking at to have in that space, and then we see how we can design the space to make sure that art is generally at the forefront of our designs. Whether it is talking about adding a character to the space, whether it's talking about adding some kind of a color or texture or some kind of a pattern print which kind of brings out certain emotions, certain thoughts, certain look and feel for the room. So that's the whole process that we follow, and that's how we look at art in all our projects and all our spaces that we design. So we generally procure art. I mean, lately because of COVID, we've been procuring a lot of art online. We've collaborated with certain artists who are either new upcoming artists with great talent. So either they share the kind of work they have and we select from that, or then we give them a brief as to what is the kind of artwork we are looking at for that particular space, or how we had decided for that artwork in that space, keeping all the other elements so that everything binds well together, and it's not like an art which is like an add-on, or which is just added on later on. So we generally get collaborated with new artists, or then we have a couple of platforms which compile work of good artists and they bring it to us, like Art and Found Company, There is the Art India magazine. There's the Sixth Dimension. So these are all portals which are online as well as physical, where we collaborate with them as and when we have art requirements. And they are happy to bring us all the new upcoming artists and their work and the price range. So it's just a little more convenient and a more elaborate way where you can access art easily rather than it becoming like a very expensive or a tedious process where you have to spend empty your pockets to get that one little art piece. So we try to balance that whole thing in this whole process. Well, regarding online viewing of art, I think it's a brilliant way of doing that because art, I feel right now, is so diverse and it's spread across multiple cities, multiple areas. It's not just restricted to the area in which you are located or where your firm or your practice is. So it's of course maybe not possible for you to travel pan India or at different levels to just go see a certain kind of art. So online becomes a very great tool and a great view, a great tool to view all these things. It's easier for the client also. It's easier for us also. And of course, it just gives us a much wider variety and a wider range. In fact, we source a lot of art from Kolkata, from Delhi. So, it kind of helps us also open our spectrum, make our reach wider. So I think online works out really well. And plus, since COVID has come in, it kind of got all of us used to the whole online portal. Initially, if you would tell a client, let's view art online, they would just be like, oh no, how do we see online? How do we select it online? But now, since the whole pandemic has hit in, it's kind of, tuned everyone's brains and ideology to see and view things online and take a call. It's not such a difficult process or such a hard convincing process what it was earlier. So I think online is great. We've been using online even before the pandemic, and we still continue to use it. So I think it's a great way to achieve more variety and more products and select from that. Absolutely a very good tool. I would like to thank Abir Pothi for this opportunity, for this great interview. And I would like to tell all your audiences and everyone that we do use a lot of Abir Space also, which is a great initiative by them, where they have art which can be viewed and sold online. They have a lot of new artists, a lot of young artists, a lot of new fresh work that you can see and source from there. So that's one great initiative, and looking forward to collaborate more on such events and interviews. Thank you so much.